I've been told I shouldn't focus too much on myself. I've been told that I shouldn't start with a string of stats. That if it's a fun idea, which by the way it is, I should start with a cool or surprising fact. And that's exactly what I'm not going to do. I'm going to start with everything they told me not to do. Because where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in yielding to the rules? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lunagu. Lunagu. Lunagu, 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 Lunagu. I'm an author. An author. An author. An author, author. And did you know that I'm Lunagu? By the way, I'm trusting that I'm an interesting topic. But I must ask you, after giving you such an introduction, did you expect such a commotion from the beginning of my speech? Did you expect that I'll be standing firm for my odd decision, no matter what the others said? I'm guessing, and for the sake of my speech, that you didn't. That's because no one thinks knowing when to yield and when to stand firm is a path to success. Everyone these days is glorifying something else. Persistence. How many of you were in Chadwick in 1st or 3rd grade and learned tirelessly about persistence? Could I have a raise of hands, please? Well, I was expecting that the audience would be much younger, but since you are not, I'll see from here. Exactly. There's about 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are raising their hands. But really, does persistence matter? As I said before, I'm an author. I wasn't kidding. I published a real book with my friends. The thing is, publishing a book isn't as easy as one might think. Of course, I've never tried writing a book of my own, but I expect no less than what I experienced with my friends. Well then, I guess I should back off and tell you the story from the beginning. It was November just last year. I found a publishing competition at Europe Books. The procedures were simple enough. You submit the manuscript and voila, it's done. If you get accepted, you'll be notified in 3 months. If not, you'll never get an email until the day explodes. That's when the entire instructions got to me though. For a poem book, submit 25 or more poems. Honestly, at that time, I wasn't sure if I could write 25 poems all alone. So I texted my friends and asked them to write with me. Friends at times could be a great supporter of you. When you want to give up, you go on because of them. And that's exactly what happened the first few days and weeks we worked together. We were laughing, having fun, writing amazing poems. I would have expected that when we got accepted by Europe Books, that relationship would have gotten better. Naturally, it got worse. A few weeks later, near December, I received an email from Europe Books editor that my manuscript had been accepted. As my friend says, and I quote, we had about 1,000 chance of being accepted. Considering that, we were all delightfully surprised. There were thousands, millions of more experienced authors out there. What chance did 10 teens have? Alas, we were able to arrange a meeting the following Tuesday. It was a Zoom meeting, and so me and my friends were dressed in our nicest clothes from the waist up, attentively taking notes while the editor preached. In many ways, we were all holding our breath for excitement. Yet the doomsday timer started when the topic came out. The root of all problems, the thing that turned this very experience upside down, the very thing that can start wars and tear down hope. Money. Well, you must remember that all of us were still teenagers, so we did not have $400. Yes, $400. When the editor mentioned that we would have to pay a fee, it was as if my world broke down. All of us thought since this was a competition, we would be able to publish for free. Apparently not. The meeting ended soon after that, and the grave conversation began on how we would gather such a big sum in such a short amount of time. To think back on it, it wasn't really that grave since the conversation went something like this. We should sell our pens. No, we should sell our books. Better idea, we should sell our clothes. We should sell our hair. Whoa. Wait, we should sell our souls. Yet all of us knew how stupid these ideas were, so eventually reality hit, and we had to rush back to the only safety we knew to save our souls, hairs, and organs. Our parents. They gracefully accepted that using money would be better than seeing their children bald. So, ending the day, I felt relieved to keep my hair intact while also believing that the others shared the same sentiment as I, relieved to find a solution to our troubles. That's why the next day I marched into school happily, grinning and whispering to everyone I passed, "Hey, I got accepted!" It did raise some eyebrows since none of them knew what I was talking about, but at least I was happy. See, the publisher we applied to offers so much commercialization, advertisements, book fairs, and interviews. And that's the real contract. So I was all happy, and that was a fantastic opportunity for all of us. Yet, I was skipping throughout the hallways happily with the biggest smile on my face when reality hit right on my face, literally. As I saw my fellow authors, their faces forced me back into reality. I realized that my assumption that all of us were in agreement with this contract was wrong. Instead, I realized that I was the only one who wanted to proceed. I felt discouraged because no one agreed with me. The doomsday timer pointed 0, and my world was gone. I felt for the first time since starting this project that we weren't ever going to finish this. I struggled alone. I didn't know who I should talk to. And then one day, my friend tapped me on the shoulders and said, "Hey, are you okay?" After school, I sent a message. "I'm not okay." Somehow, word got into my grandmother, and she paid me a visit. "Luna," she said, "I heard you were having a hard time, but untie yourself from everything for now. You must remember that later on, it will seem like nothing. All of this conflict will seem like nothing. What really matters, what all that matters, is that you reach your goal. So you do your thing. Get a notebook and write all your poems down or something. No one says you have to actually publish it. All that matters is that you reach your goal." That sounded oddly similar to what my teacher once told me. Sometimes you have to be the bigger person. Sometimes, even if it may hurt you, you need to make the right choice, the wise choice. And in this case, I was shorter in height than most of my friends, but I had to give it a try. And I tried. I suggested self-publishing to my friends. After that, they were actually happy about the idea. They actually liked it. So the result? You can guess it. Everyone was happy, and we were able to publish the book. Our book was published, and eventually our goal was met, and we had a better relationship. Now, if I'm right about life ethics, I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in this. I'm pretty sure that you experienced something similar, something as hard and as challenging on you, something you thought you wouldn't get over with. Maybe, just maybe, you're experiencing something somewhat like my experience right now. If you did, if you are, welcome to this talk. You chose the right speaker. Well, now, settle down. Before I give you the answer, since I'm a natural teacher, let me ask you one question, or two. Here, what was the solution to our troubles? What was the key that unlocked their true potential and led us to our goal? Yielding. I can still imagine that if I persisted with my idea and kept on arguing for my decision, I wouldn't be standing in front of you right now. Even if I was, I'd be speaking of my regrets. So let me ask you again. Does persistence really matter? No. No, it does not. What really matters is that you know when to persist and when to yield. If I got discouraged by my grandmother and went on with the notebook idea, I couldn't have accomplished this together. I stood my ground. But when all of my friends disagreed with me, I suggested a different idea. I yielded. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot win a marathon if you're going to run the whole time. If you sprint the whole time, you'll be exhausted, sick, tired. You can't win if you're walking the whole time either. You'll be too slow. What really matters is knowing when to sprint and when to slow down. And life is a marathon, just much harder, much, much longer. I encourage you all, please do not start another doomsday weapon. I'd really rather not live through another, and I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy if I had one. My point is, don't take one key and think it's the key for all the doors in the world. That's persistence, but it's also stupidity. Take many keys, and when they don't work, know that it's your time to yield. Your goal in life, after all, isn't do it my way, it's do it. Do it and do whatever it takes to reach your goal. Be a tree that bends in a storm. All that matters and all that is needed to reach your goal is knowledge, specifically on when to yield and when to stand firm. And here's just a snippet of what you can accomplish by yielding and persisting. Hero. Harry Potter, Moana, Percy Jackson, Frodo Baggins. All heroes, all saviors of the world. A different world. They're just some figures, adults say. They're just a story, they remind us. They are in a different world. Could such a delicate, innocent heart break? But what if we weren't dreaming? What if they were ideas gleaming? What if you could save the world, each and every person? Doctors, authors, firefighters, soldiers, lifeguards, police officers, detectives, teachers. What if I told you that they were heroes too? What if I told you that they are the ones that save our world? Could such delicate, innocent souls save the world? Could you be a hero? Thank you.